Yeah, Chairman Murkowski, thank you for the opportunity. And let me say first and foremost, I understand the concern that has been raised by the ranking member as well as Senator Leahy, and in your comments as well, Chairman Murkowski. I knew that as I began this process over 16 months ago to lead this agency, that the issues would be competitive. There are worldviews that drive the decisions that we make at the agency. And over the last several years, we've seen a competition with respect to how we should approach our business. First and foremost, we have had some advance an agenda that true environmentalism, environmental protection is prohibition and not stewardship. And so one of the things that we've tried to focus upon at the agency, and what I've tried to focus upon, is restoring a commitment of recognition that we as a country can be about management of our natural resources, that we can truly feed the world, empower the world, and do so with stewardship principles in mind as we advance the agenda. We've made some very important decisions. Chairman, as you know, with respect to the Pebble Mine situation in Alaska, that was a very controversial decision that was made. We made a decision based upon the data, the science, and the feedback that was provided by citizens in your state, and did what was right there. Recently, as I mentioned in my comments, the methylene chloride decision, that was an Obama-era regulation issued in January of 2017. I recently met with individuals impacted by methylene chloride and made the decision to proceed with that by forwarding it to OMB. We are making the tough decisions with respect to environmental protection while at the same time restoring confidence in the American people that we can engage in regulations and not pick winners and losers and not engage in coercion with our actions. Now, that has brought, I think, competition and criticism. And I understood that from the very beginning. And there have been decisions over the last 16 or so months that as I look back on those decisions, I would not make the same decisions again. And I'm sure we're going to talk about some of those. But some of the areas of criticism are frankly areas where processes at the agency were not properly instituted to prevent certain abuses from happening. One is an example, the decision with respect to the phone booth. You mentioned the secure phone line. That was a process that there were not proper controls in early to ensure a legal review of the obligation of the agency to inform Congress and GAO. And I started a process shortly after finding out about it that we investigate that and institute those controls to ensure that that does not happen again. We're going to talk about a number of those. And as the leader of the agency, it's my responsibility to take steps. In fact, one of the things I did shortly after the House meeting, Chairman, is institute a memo for the entire agency that any expenditure over $5,000 that impacts my official duties has to be approved by the CFO, the deputy, and the chief of staff, to ensure that all processes are being checked and there are proper controls in place. So I share your concerns about some of these decisions. I want to rectify those going forward. I also want to highlight for you that some of the criticism is unfounded and I think exaggerated, and I think it feeds this division that we've seen around very important issues affecting the environment. We can achieve both good environmental outcomes and pro-growth policies, and it's our commitment, my commitment to achieve that, and I look forward to the discussion.